can say this about season 4. It is going to be so worth the wait.
Nowhere, actually.
A wrecking machine. I'll take it.
I'm still figuring out my own style, Mark, actually.
It was great.
It took 2 minutes and I had to answer, yeah, go for it.
Are you sure you're not interested? I was like, don't ask me again. I can't refuse it twice.
In Holland, in one country.
She got me so deep and underwater and I drank it. That's not good.
You'll try chocolate from South Africa to Australia to England. It will taste so different.
So it's been really amazing that it's been with you after 10 long years.
The first title we were messing around with, we were going to call it Lockdown. Yeah. And then after a while, we actually kind of realised, God, this is dragging on a lot longer than what we thought it was going to be.
I didn't want to give people a reminder.
Our bass player has a band. We were like, let's go on the road, man. But and then it just came to a screeching halt.
We had to work on like how I was biting the carrot. Like I had to do it very purposefully, you know? You didn't want a weak bite, but you didn't want a bite that was too strong.
Someone jumps the stage and one of our techs just body slams him to the ground and you can see me kick him.
I guess I was too distracted. I was having too much fun. Never a bad thing.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Jonah. Hello.
Hello, Mark. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world. I'm Mark Sugiyama from Eclectic Arts, based here in Seattle, Washington. And thank you so much for joining me on this Saturday, the 8th of May, 2021. And I've got a few housekeeping things, as always, before we get to my guests today. And coming up on Monday at, 11 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, I have Megan from Vexed in the UK, so they're going to be she's going to be joining me on Monday, and then on Tuesday at 10 a.m. I have Tezzy and Jan from Infinite and Divine joining me on Tuesday. Again, that's 10 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, and then on Wednesday I have Kit Majors, who is an indie pop singer. She is joining me at 11 a.m. on Wednesday. And then anything else beyond that is still kind of pending. And so if you'd like to follow me as Eclectic Arts Media, one word, on Instagram, that's where I post everything first. And then after that, I migrate some of that information over to Facebook, but not all of it. So there are some things that are exclusive to Instagram. So that's where everything gets posted first. And speaking of which, thank you so much for joining me. I see quite a few people are in the chat right now. And if you are watching on YouTube, and if you haven't done so already, I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe to my channel. And if you could like the video, that's also a plus. If you want to know what's coming up, you can hit the notification bell, but be aware that we'll give you notifications from YouTube. So like your inbox might get kind of full after a while. But the subscription button always helps. That's the red button that's over usually on the right corner, I want to say. And then if you're on the Twitch side of things, if you could follow me over there, that's always great too. And if you're even more inclined and you really like what I'm doing, there's a PayPal me link in the YouTube description where you can make a tip or a donation. Everything goes right back into what I do with these streams and securing everything. I'm kind of looking at my backdrop. I've had this for a while, so maybe I'd like to upgrade that. But that's only if you're so inclined and in a position to do so. I understand if some people are not. And so it's been a really great week this week for Eclectic Arts. My goodness, I mean, I've gone from France to, I'm just looking at my list. I had Furies from France on Monday, and then we had a gal who's living in the U.S., but she's originally from Northern Italy on Tuesday, and we went to Florida, and they had Jake Ream from Yellowstone, and then we had Lee Aaron from Canada, and Luana D'Ameto from Crypta was here from Brazil, and then we had Talitha Thurston yesterday, and now I'm kind of wrapping things up today. And hi, Industrial Girl. Yeah, no problem. Maybe you can catch this later. I understand you got things you need to do, but at least thank you very much for stopping by. And I see some of the questions that are coming in here, so I'll make sure to try to keep track of those as well. So let's get to everything because I know all of you are excited to hear from our guests. My guests today just released their brand new album, The Last Night of Fall, yesterday on Frontiers Music. Please welcome to the Eclectic Arts virtual studio, Rossella and Gianluca from False Memories.
Hello.
Hello, how are both of you doing?
How you doing? Fine.
Ready? Well, thank you. And you?
I'm glad that you guys are doing well. I'm doing well over here. Thank you so much for taking the time. And Gianluca, good to see you again. And Rossella, nice to meet you for the first time.
It's only a pleasure for me.
Yeah. So it's so The Last Night of Fall just came out yesterday, and we've got there in the background of our video here. And I can just imagine how excited you must be to finally have this thing out and the fan reaction to it. So how are you feeling about the album release?
We are feeling very, very, very excited because it's a huge thing to do. It's a release, a born for me, a born of 11 songs. Okay. We are very excited and thrilled for that.
Yeah, for sure. And Gianluca, how are you feeling about it?
Well, we did a job which is we did it more or less. We started to compose and to rehearse and then record and so on, more or less a year ago. So now is the moment in which we can see what is how it's worth. The album, I mean, in the feedback from the public, feedback from the audience, and it is exciting, and we are thrilled about it. Of course, I think it's not just me or Rossella, but every one of us. We just want to see what happens next.
Okay, yeah, and like we were talking pre-show, I think the momentum is there, and we'll kind of see. If the world was in a better state, then we would kind of know what was happening next. You'd probably be playing shows, but we have a question mark over that right now still. So
yeah.
I do see a question came in from Carlos asking about who designed the cover art for the album.
That's the cover art of Federico Mondelli. You know Frozen Crown?
Oh, yes.
Okay. That is the first guitar of Frozen Crown. It's great friend for us and also a great artist.
Yeah, it's for anybody who do not know him, he's the author of all the music from Frozen Crown, and a good part of the lyrics, which are also written by the singer Giada Etro, and he's a very amazing guitar player, in my opinion, and also a very good graphic designer. So he is the man who did our artwork.
I really liked so much his style that is very similar to the cover artworks of Travis Smith. Okay, it's very similar to these works, in my opinion, and I like it so much.
Yeah, it looks great, and like what Gianluca was saying, he's a very talented man. He does so many things. So.
He definitely does a lot of things, and this is a thing that happens not very often. I mean,
yeah. So I wish I had his talent. And Rossella, I wanted to ask you specifically about the lyrics to the songs, because I know you've been writing the lyrics for them. And what are some of the themes that you wanted to cover with the lyrics?
That's a pretty question, because I think that you guessed that our thematics, our arguments about the lyrics are mainly based on psychology. You can find psychology not only on voices, for example. You can find paranoia or rage, and at the same time you can find the torment of the soul. Okay, You can also find other types of arguments based on psychology also in the rest of the 11 track or the 10 tracks. But notice only this, because you can find also some a sort of dreamy thematics. Okay, you can listen to these lyrics in White Crows and Unfaithful Dream.
Okay, and I'm glad that you said White Crows, because that's a song that I really liked once I got the chance to listen to the album. And so, and you just mentioned psychology. You mentioned dreamlike state for some of the lyrics. Is what's going on with White Crows specifically, that song, in terms of the lyrics?
White Crows is a sort of fantastic song. I used some my imaginary was a sort of parallel world. Okay, not is our world. It's a sort of strange world where the trees not grows from the ground. Okay, are also the lyrics of the song.
Okay, so you're kind of comparing things, which probably explains why it's called White Crows and not like a typical black crow, that there's different things to compare to. Okay, interesting. I think a lot of the fans, based on what I was seeing in the official fan group, were talking about they really like that song a lot too, that it's standing out to them. So, nice job with the lyrics. And then Gianluca, in your case, with that song, do you remember anything specific about when you were recording that particular song, White Crows?
In this song, let's say, is one of the, if I remember correctly, it was one of the last that was written, but Rossella can confirm or deny that.
I deny.
I did not. So let's rewind and repeat. It's one of the last that I have learned, and so was. That's the tricky part of it, and I liked it immediately, but I have some issues in learning the middle part, in which the bass just does some root notes, but in a not that simple way, because it's not easy to the chord progression is not hackneyed, let's say, is somehow complicated, let's say, because it's not the chord progression that you would expect, let's say. So I have struggled a little bit to find out how to play this part, but at the end of the process, I think that I came with something which fitted the arrangement.
You did it.
Yeah, thanks. And think about the fact, Mark, that our arrangements are we have a lot of layers, and we have a lot of layers of sound, and for the bass part, it's not that easy to figure out an interesting bass line which also fit with all the layers that are from keyboards and different guitar parts, and so come out with an interesting part which also fit with the song. It's a job which is not that easy for me, at least. As it could look like from the outside, let's say. So that's it. I definitely like the riffing and the scale played at the end of the riff. But this is a part of the actual song that is not a thing that regards specifically the bass, because I do the same. I play together with the guitar and the drums, so it's not a basical thing, let's say.
There's a curious aspect of the song, because the song was born in the last one of these two Christmas. Okay, where was a song for a Christmas that we have to retake from the public scene and redo in a different way. I redid the lyrics of the song, and this is definitely the last.
Result.
Yes, this is the last result of.
Okay, interesting. So yeah, so it sounds like you went back and had to make some changes to it and redo things to it before you got it to where you wanted it to be and to get it onto the album and release it that way. Okay, and Rossella, I'm curious too. I think some of the fans out there are wondering about your singing background. So you teach lessons, I know that, so can you talk about your background on how you became a singer? And then also, who are some of your influences?
Okay, yeah. I started to sing at the age of 3 years old. I was very, very young, I say, because I really love music. I always loved music in all its shades. I were going to do some lessons for my voice at the age of 16. At the age of 16, I had the degree in vocal coaching. After 5 years, I think. Okay, after 5 years, and so now I am a vocal coach, vocal teacher. I am a vocal coach, and I work in this way.
Okay, and who are some of your own influences? What other vocalists do you who influenced you in your singing?
I think that I have a lot of influences, and not only by metal genres. I have a lot of influences also on pop music. For example, you can hear my voice, and it's very clear, like pop singers, for example. But I like so much a lot of singers. If I mention some singers of those, I can mention, of course, Floor Jansen on Nightwish.
Mm-hmm.
I really love her voice. It's very strong and very, very beautiful. I also love the poetical way to sing of Jonas Wrensky of Catatonia. It's really interesting, his approach with his voice, I think.
Oh, okay, yeah. Those are two great examples. And I know a lot of people out there are Floor Jansen fans and definitely Catatonia fans too. So it makes sense that they are most likely False Memory fans too now.
We hope so.
And Gianluca, I know last time, a month ago when we talked, you were talking about with your bass playing and other bands you'd been in. I also know that you were into a lot of progressive music, and we talked about Rush for a while, and that type of thing. And like you said earlier today, trying to find an interesting bass line amongst this really kind of layered music that False Memories does can be difficult at times.
Yeah.
So like, do you spend a lot of time then? It sounds like you kind of do, trying to figure out, how do I find that balance? I want to make sure I'm playing for the song, but I also don't want to just be playing the same old stuff either.
Yeah. I'm saying now, I think that maybe not that may surprise someone. I do not know. But the most of the time, I write my bass line on the sheet and not on the instrument, because I like to I figure out the harmonics texture of the of the song better on the sheet, and then I try to find out how to do it also for a rhythm, for the rhythm aspect of the thing, and then I play it after that. This is most of the times. I'm saying not that I'm doing it every time, but in false memories case is like that, because I have we people of 2021 have the luck of having information technology which helps us, so I can have a MIDI file from the guitar and keyboard and just immediately see the sheet, and then it's more easy for me to do that. I don't know if it is common, but I do like that.
Okay, interesting that you write out your bass lines first on paper or on manuscript paper, music paper, and then figure out how does it sound when I'm actually playing it, and then kind of make adjustments to it. And I see a question came in from Sean about I'd love to hear the inspiration for Black Shade. Is there anything you can kind of talk about that particular song, Black Shade?
Black Shades was one of the first songs that Francesco and I wrote. It's very particular. That's true, because Black Shades have a sort of strange story also, because we're another song, completely another song. We haven't an idea of our new sound in that moment, and we after find our new sound, and then we changed all the stuffs inside Black Shades, and now is what you can hear.
Oh, interesting. So there's another example where you started with one version of it or something, or style even, and then you changed it to something else that we eventually got to hear, well, yesterday. So that's interesting. And I see Michael asked a question about, are you both in Italy right now? You are. You're both located in Italy right now, and I believe you're doing this from your homes. So sometimes fans don't know where someone's at, if they're in another country, or if they're, if they were traveling somewhere else for work, or if they're here in the U.S. or something doing press. So sometimes that question comes up. So that's a good question, Michael. Yeah, they're in Italy, so yeah, it's nighttime over there, and like for me in Seattle, it's 12:25 in the afternoon right now. So we had to kind of work out schedules, but yeah, we're all here. So let's see. I wanted to ask both of you. You have a lot of fans now, you're getting new fans, but there's a lot more that we want to get into the False Memories family. For someone that hasn't heard of your band, how would you describe them? How would you describe False Memories to someone new?
We'll answer.
If you want to answer first, please.
You or me?
No, you answer first.
Okay. Sorry, guys. Okay. Well, you can see to us like a sort of mix of a lot of different genres. Some people ask to us this because they think that gothic metal or doom metal doesn't fit on our our image, okay. So the correct term is dark metal. Dark metal that includes some genres like goth metal, like symphonic metal, like prog metal, and a little bit of doom metal maybe, and that's all. But a lot of people don't understand that the problem not is the classification of a genre for a band, but they only have to listen to the music and decide if the music is what them like or not.
Okay, if I can say a thing, we are definitely a metal band, and we definitely have a female singer. That's a fact. But inside, within metal, we have a lot of different subgenres, and many people use those labels. The right way to use labels, to me, is to describe how a music is for people who haven't heard yet. But you have not to fit necessarily a specific subgenre label and so on. So, as Francesco said some day ago, I don't remember exactly when, but we are metal with some influence which goes from prog metal to goth metal to doom metal, and also someone say symphonic. I do not actually agree, but let's say there is also some symphonic metal in it. Of course, every music we have listened to during the years has somehow influenced us, and you can hear all of it because it happened to everyone who happened to play, to be a player, to be a musician. But if I would have to say, is metal with those influences. And since every song of our newly released album is now possible to listen to on Spotify, on YouTube, and whatever, so have a check, listen how it is, and then feel free to classify us however you want. We call our music, as Rossella said, dark metal, as far as we have to say something, okay? But it's just a way to describe something before people have the possibility to listen to. When you have first heard how our songs, of course, you think that you can tell that is metal, which is some melancholy around, some melody, some vocal melodies which are very present. Yeah, but it's not that. It's not a definition. Let's say melodic. Something is melodic. So 90% of music has melody in it. So I do not really get what melodic means. So so that's it. Let people hear it and define however they want. But it's of course metal. It has of course some doom, goth, prog influence in it, and our singer is of course a woman, so he has a female voice.
And I understand what you're saying about that, because it becomes something where, like, if someone doesn't know, it's like you try to tell them just certain things to maybe get them to just check out the music, and then once you've listened to it, make up your own mind of what you think, and hopefully you just think it's really good music. But if they're not sure about things, I think the whole symphonic metal thing happens just because of Rossella being a female singer in your band, even though musically, to me, I agree with you. That doesn't sound symphonic at all to me. It's and dark metal is actually a really good way to describe it, because if you listen to the album, it's got this whole dark tone to it. Doesn't matter if there's prog and goth and doom in it. There's just definitely this darkness to it, which I love. I love that aspect of it, and I think it's a little bit different.
Definitely, not as symphonic. Definitely.
Yeah, and I mean, even look at Rossella's wearing a lot of black right now, so it kind of fits the dark, the dark.
She always.
I'm in a ball.
She always dress like that and wears basically everyday black clothes. So it's not just an act for her. I am more of a casual dresser, let's say, in our everyday life. But of course, we all like these dark atmospheres, let's say, this dark mood in music, and this is the underline.
It's only my taste. It's only my
Yeah,
taste.
I mean, to be dressed in black is, of course, a way to express yourself, let's say, but it's not a music genre. Okay. I can also be dressed in black and listen to.
It's just my personality.
But it fits. It describes quite good. Of course.
While Gianluca is a very colored person.
Yeah. Not always, but sometimes colorful. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and that makes sense. I mean, I've been into metal since I was 9 years old, so I'm wearing a black shirt right now. So, but I don't do it all the time, and definitely things define me outside of what I listen to for sure. But if it's part of your personality, it's part of your personality. I mean, I've been listening to metal for over 40 years now, so it's never going to get out of my system. And thank you for the new people that are joining us. And I see a question came in about so Michael Emmanuel will not be joining us. So this was set up with Rossella and Gianluca, at least for this interview. I don't know about future things, but this is who the guests are today, just to kind of clarify for that. And I'm curious too. So Gianluca, when we last talked, the music video for Reign of Souls had not come out yet. It was like about a week away. And then now you also have a lyric video for The Illusionist. So, but I want to stay with Reign of Souls for a second because it continued the storyline from Voices. Yeah. And so can both of you kind of speak to the storyline and the ending of Reign of Souls? Because I watched it again this morning to make sure that I was watching. It's like, so what exactly happened there? Because we know the reveal that the band are the ones wearing those kind of, industrial type masks, and then the character of Rossella, there's something kind of going on there. So can we kind of speak to that?
Yeah, the four evil scientists were actually we. And the droid, which has, of course, the facial features of Rossella and the actual Rossella at the end. So at the end of the first video, the droid managed to escape from the dungeon in which she or it, I don't know, was taken prisoner. And then the droid managed to pass through a gateway, and it tried to go back and warn the human Rossella, which was on the top of that building in the second singing while we were playing, of course, and that she tried to reach Rossella and warn her about what would happen, but the scientist, the evil scientist, the evil scientist, trying to of course they are evil, because they wanted to stop the droid from reaching the human Rossella, and at the end they perhaps succeed in what they tried to do, because we see the sort of dead droid, but we do not know if the droid managed to pass the information to the human character or not. You know whether or not the droid succeeded in its task. So and the lyric video shows some pictures, some imagery about the first two videos, and who knows that if the story may continue later on, and that's a thing that may happen, but we do not tell anything about it because it's open to
the
sequel.
People.
it's very open ending. So we see the droid at the ground and with the blood shedding from its mouth. So dead or seriously injured, seriously incapacitated, but we do not know if he or it. I don't know. I make some confusion with pronounce part. Let's forgive me, but we don't know what happened next. If he succeeded, may happen something good for the human. If the evil scientists are now in power because they have reached their goal, we do not know now. But in the future, we could, maybe.
Okay, so it's going to be let's wait and see what might happen in the future with the storyline and with the droid and everything. And Michael, thank you for your clarification. I saw that comment. I was like, yeah, I realized that the guitarist joined the chat. I thought you were asking if they're going to come onto the live stream. So it's like, no. So guys, Francesco Moreno, thank you for joining us too. And yeah, I have no idea if they have a chance to see if Emmanuel is going to join us too through the chat part of it. So yeah, I got a little confused. but thanks for your question and your clarification about that. So with The Illusionist being the lyric video, did the band have a choice of like what that third song was going to be for that lyric video, or did Frontiers kind of say we think this would be the one to put out next?
Can you repeat, please?
So I'm just wondering if the band, if you guys had a say in what came out in terms of The Illusionist, they picked that for the third, video, the lyric video. Is that what you wanted to come out, or did Frontiers say we want to put this out?
No, it is just a choice that we have done. It is only a choice of False Memories to release another video.
Yeah. The song was chosen by us, or better, we told the label that the songs that we would like to have on our videos were Voices, Rhinoceros, and The Illusionist, and they agreed. So it was not a big deal. They agreed with us, and so we hadn't any discussion about it. The first was Voices because we thought that was fit for being the first single, and Rhinoceros also had
maybe a catchy tune, a very catchy tune in my opinion. Rhinoceros is very catchy and very and fits as well as second single of the album in my opinion.
And while The Illusionist perhaps goes a little bit further into what the whole album is. So you got a more catchy tune at the beginning, and then you have the glimpse with the third single with the lyric video towards the complexity of the whole album, because of course the songs are different, and we want to show some different from our album from three different points of view, and that's it. And Frontiers agreed with it. Basically, they do not say anything against. So I assume that they are okay with it from the very beginning.
They definitely agreed. Yes.
Yeah, I know, but you talk with them, and I could not say it.
I can say.
Yeah. So.
Okay, well, that makes it really easy then. If you knew what songs the band wanted out and Frontier said that we agree with it, then then everything happens the way you wanted it to happen. That's great to hear. And I see a question came in a while ago about the title, The Last Night of Fall. What's the story or meaning behind the title of the album?
Okay, it's pretty fine because if you can. I can say this. If you can view the title literally, you can read The Last Night of Fall, like the last night of autumn, the last day in the totally view, okay. But poetically, the meaning is that you are dropped into a word with around all the autumn themes, autumn poetry. Okay, for me, the fall is a very beautiful season, and announce another beautiful season, in my opinion, that is winter. Winter is the peaceful season. All the white and the silence of the snow. Okay, can feel you can feel the peace all around you. And the last night of fall announces the beginning of the winter. Okay, that's
This
why.
also, and this also the last night in which you are actually falling.
Yeah.
Okay, so if
like a leaf.
Like a leaf.
Nice. So Bessie, yeah, thank you for that question. And I think it's something that, yeah, at least like for us that live here on the West Coast or up here in the Northwest, that I love fall too. It's a beautiful season. You see things change. And then, yeah, that last day, which would be in December before it goes into winter, yeah, you literally would see something fall from a tree or what have you. And then it goes into winter, which can be pretty nice around here sometimes. Kind of depends. I don't know how much snow we get, but it is an interesting title because it also can mean like fall, almost like an object, like the last night of fall, not just the season, but maybe like fall as a being or something that it kind of brings you into the world of false memories.
Yes, that's a perfect construction of your opinion about. Yes, I like it.
Oh, thank you.
It's a perfect description, perhaps.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know if it's exactly because when you have to deal with poetry, let's say, everybody may have their own interpretation. So you have a literal meaning, and you have some image that comes from in the mind of the author, but also the reader, the eye of the beholder thing, let's say. So, I mean, if you are falling, fall is a season, but also a verb. so you can fall, and falling may be a difficult situation. Rossella, at the beginning of the interview, Rossella said something like, something about psychology and anxiety, loneliness, and every sort of bad way to feel, let's say, psychologically speaking. And you can say that it's like a fall. And the last night of fall, opening setting the things for the incoming winter, which means peace. So it's like that you stop your fall and finally reach you find a state of peace of mind, and that's what we hope to reach from ourselves. And it's a bigger hope. It's a bigger hope, but we want also to convey this thinking to the listeners, to the audience. We would love that they could relate with this state of mind and this way to think, and also think that music may be helpful somehow for people who feel in such a depressive kind of being. I'm not talking about the actual depression condition, but things like that, things in that sort of and around that. I'm not sure if I spoke clearly, but for a lack of a better word, I would say depression state of mind, depressive state of mind, let's say. So
issues
that it's just related to dark thoughts and things like that many people have, and they often take for themselves. They do not speak about it, and because I don't know why exactly. I cannot say why, but they do not speak about it. And hearing that some other people experience basically the same can be a relief, can be a sort of to be in relate to other people that feel basically the same. So we hope and that could be helpful.
Yeah, no, that's very well said, especially with the band having this dark metal sound, that it could be things like you mentioned, Rossella, about issues. Everybody has issues for sure, and it could be that kind of also parlays into some inner meaning of the title of the album, that you can kind of relate to other people that are going through these things. And then when you listen to this album or listen to False Memories as a band and eventually get to see you live, it's going to be like, this is the world now. We're all kind of in the same world, and this is how we come together, and this is also how we move forward and be positive about things. And that's what the connection's there for sure. And clearly, the people that are in the chat and the people that are going to be watching this later understand what you're talking about. So I love it when there's extra meaning behind a title, that it could be kind of looked at different ways. It's not so literal, that it could be many different meanings. So that's really good. Yeah, and to kind of wrap this up, I want to ask, so I know there is a question mark for every band out there, but what can we kind of look forward to? Is there anything else that's already been done, or that you're looking to do sometime this summer to help promote the record? Is it just we don't really know because it's just still too soon?
Sorry, I don't understand.
So
can you repeat, please?
Yeah, what's coming up for the band in the future? Is there anything that you're going to be doing this summer, like maybe another video or a live stream, or just don't know?
Live stream, I think that is very difficult for us because it's a very expensive thing to do. We experienced live stream the last year. Gianluca, remember?
October,
month. Yeah. Okay, October, yes. On October, you can find also the live streaming on our page if you want. Is a sort of live streaming and where in a free mode. Okay, it's all recorded into Facebook. So talking about now, we can say that we are working hard on a plan to do some gigs. We are planning some gigs in Italy in this moment, but we also want to plan some gigs and tours maybe in USA, in there. Yeah.
It will be great, but sorry to interrupt you, Ross, but it's very difficult to, as you, Mark, said before, it's very difficult to plan anything. So we all, of course, want and are working for having some gigs here in Italy, but we cannot tell you nor anybody we are going to do this gig this moment, because everything is under a question mark, as you said. So of course we want to do and we are working to make it possible if it is possible. And that's it. To tour outside Italy is very the question marks become bigger, so it's very difficult to plan it. Everything like that is, I think, I don't know, cannot talk for the other bands.
We can't wait, but
we can't wait. We can definitely wait.
It's very difficult. Yeah.
I cannot talk for the other bands, but I mean, it is very. I think that is the same for almost everybody. Besides from perhaps the big names which have the possibility to plan things for the 2022 and things like that, but in the next 3 months, nobody can tell anything. In my opinion, and for what I can tell, grounding my statement on people I know.
Yeah, and that makes perfect sense. I mean, I've done, like I mentioned with my introduction, I've done some interviews with other musicians from around the world this week, and they're all saying the same things, that they want to, but they can't plan anything because they don't really know, and they don't want to do the thing where they put it out there that, oh, we're going to be doing these shows, and then they have to reschedule them, and maybe even cancel them. So they're just kind of waiting, and so it looks pretty good. And in some cases, unfortunately, they're waiting till next year because it's still too much of a question mark, and there's a lot of money involved with trying to book shows and tours and all this kind of stuff. So they're kind of waiting around to figure out, well, what happens next. And so it makes sense, and it does kind of beg the question, though, since this album was written and recorded, a while ago. Are you guys kind of working on some material and songs for the eventual next album?
Yes, we are working hard on it, but it's only on. We are only some musics, some compositions, very short compositions, and we are pretty sure of the sound of the next album, but I cannot talk about with you and all people that follow us in this moment, because it's very difficult to define exactly what I have in my mind and what Francesco has in his mind. Yes.
At the early stage of the process. So, of course, the work has started in order to create something for the next album, but we are in the very early stages of the process, and as she has just said, it's too early to tell anything about how it will sound, but
even Gianluca don't know.
No, I do not know.
Doesn't know. Even Gianluca doesn't know the sound of the new track.
You do not know it too. You do not know it too. You have some ideas, but you do not know if it will take another way, and because things come into mind.
We will do some polka music.
Yeah, perhaps.
Yeah.
Polka metal can be interesting.
Polka metal, yes. Yeah. I like it.
You heard it here first, everybody. And I'm just kidding.
Yeah, kidding. I'm just kidding.
Don't leave us. Don't leave us.
I would say, of course, it will be metal, and the people will be the same people, the same team. So the sound will be not another planet, but not of
will
course
be very similar, in my opinion. Will be very similar to The Last Night Will Fall, of course.
Okay. Yeah, and that makes sense. That you're in the, like you said, you're in the early stages. You're kind of working through some things, and it's way too early to tell like where this is going to go. But you have a rough idea, but still, you never know at the end of the day what the next album is going to look like. But I was just curious that while you have this time, it's kind of like you must be working on some riffs and some kind of early stage things, and you are. So that's great to hear that eventually we'll see that down the road at some point. It's too early to even think about trying to get any of that stuff out because the new album just came out yesterday. So
yes, it'll be ill in order to be focused. So let's be focused on our recent yesterday's issue, and to make all its potential come out and see what happened. And of course, in the meanwhile, we know that another album will come. Yeah. We will work also on that. But the main thing in which our mind must be focused is, of course, the last Night of Fall, because it's now out since yesterday.
We also add the time. We also want the time to know if people will support our music as well. We certainly are working on new stuff, of course, but we have to to work also with this that actually is out. So
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you want, like you said, you want to make sure that the fans know about it, but we also want new fans to know about the Last Night of Fall. So, and for the fans that are in the chat right now, hopefully if you can take a moment just to take this link once we're done and share it across your own social media channel so more people find out about the band, put everything kind of out there. And before we go, I did see a question in there that was something that was kind of interesting. They're asking about how did all of you meet? Because I know you kind of came into the bands at different times. How did the members kind of end up meeting each other?
So I met I came into the band, let's say 4 years ago. Don't not remember exactly the month. And the people in the band was different people. The only one who was already there was Francesco. Not that long, but I came into the band because I knew that False Memory was looking for a bass player, so I answered, and
And he joined the band.
And I joined the band. After a while, our former singer left, and Rossella came in, and since she came in, the band took a different musical direction because her influence was strong since the beginning. And yeah, because she is also a singer, but she's also a musician. She can play piano. She didn't tell you before, but this is a fact. She can compose music, not just singing, and like many singers are. I'm not talking about all the singers. Of course, many singers are also other play some instruments, but not all of them. Rossella is one that can play and can create not just vocal lines, but also music. So she and Francesco met together and immediately had sort of chemistry in the process of composition. So this was the first change. Then our former drummer left the band, and Emanuele, which is our current drummer, got in, and then we decided to have a second guitar player, which we hadn't before. If you hear our first album, we are the only guitar player was Francesco, and we added a second guitar player, which drastically changed the sound, of course, because two guitars are a different world. The riffs are way harder and thicker, let's say, and so that's why the Last Night of Fall is so different from Chimerical, which is also, in my opinion, I like that album. It's a very good album. Some songs will be played again in our coming shows, but of course the musical direction has drastically changed because lineup changes, new singer, which is also a new composer. I mean, new. She is in the band since a while now, but I'm talking about the first album, and in the first album, Rossella's voice can be heard just on 3 songs, which are also our 3 videos we made, and now you can hear her voice all along the album, and it's a very different thing. And also you can hear her way to write, to compose the songs, and not alone, together with Francesco, but of course
it's another way to composing. It's another way to composing the songs instead Valentina. So
Valentina had a different approach. So
okay.
I don't know if I answered your question, but I think I think more or less, yeah. I mean,
Yeah, no, I think you did a great job explaining for folks
Okay.
and for the in the chat about how the band members kind of came to be in terms of the current lineup and the influence that Rosella's had, especially on the new album, with not just the vocals but also the writing and her viewpoint of how it's going to, what she brings to the table and everything's like that. And I also want to just mention to people that if you're still in the chat. Gianluca and I did an interview about a month ago, and that's on my channel. So if you want to watch that later, once we're done with this one, there's other information there too that we've already covered. So, or that we didn't cover, I should say, that was unique to that interview too. So if you want to check that out and kind of see what we've done in the last month, 5 weeks time or so. But Gianluca and Rossella, I want to thank you so much for taking the time. I congratulate you on the release of the album and the entire band. For those that are still in the chat and those that are watching this later, I'll make sure that if you are new to the band, get out there and buy the album and support the band, because that's how you support them, especially during these times. If you actually make a purchase of something, you can go to their website. I know they've got a store there. You can go to Frontier's site and you can buy the CD. Anything you can think of to help get the word out about this band. And again, I thank you so much for taking the time, and maybe we can actually connect like sometime this summer if something new's kind of coming up and we can kind of see where things are at with the band.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much for having us. And yeah, if it will be possible to share some new information with you, it will be a pleasure for us. I'm sure to now speaking for the whole band, because we will for sure be pleased to speak with you again. Of course, in order to share some new information when it will come.
Sounds good. And I see Manuela just showed up as we're finishing this up, but at least you got in and got a chance to say hi to everybody in the chat. But again, thank you so much. And yeah, I'd look forward to connecting with you again when there's some new information to get out to the fans.
Okay. So
thank you for having
very
us
much.
here.
Thank you
guys.
Thank you guys.
Bye.
So hi everybody.
Hi.
Bye. Have a good night.